You're listening to the Outer Banks This Week podcast, a place for people to hear what's going on up and down the beach and to get the truth about what really goes on around the Outer Banks. So, are you ready? Here we go.
Thank you so much, Wes. Outer Banks This Week podcast, episode 123. And it's all brought to you by Outer Banks Pest Control, online at outerbanks-pestcontrol.com for that creepy crawly that is plaguing your house, for that varmint that just won't go away. And I'm not talking about your kids. I'm talking about actual varmints like mice, rodents of any sort. They can handle it for you online at outerbanks-pestcontrol.com. I know that Miss Jessie would love to send one of her techs out, or she might even show up. She's been known to go on jobs and handle business for you, because that's what they do at Outer Banks Pest Control. Again, online at outerbanks-pestcontrol.com. Empowering this vessel today of episode 123 will be none other than Kelly's Automotive in Manteo. Let me tell you something. Kelly is a beautiful man, and I say that in a completely heterosexual way. He is a good-looking dude. He's strong. I mean, if you ever look at his arms, you're like, oh my gosh, you thought you were standing in the presence of one Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody, when Schwarzenegger was Mr. Olympia back in the day, or maybe even Lou Ferrigno. There we go. That's a better one. Lou Ferrigno. It's, you put a beard on Lou Ferrigno and you get Kelly at Kelly's Automotive. Might be big, might be solid, but he's one of the nicest guys around, and he would love to wrap you in a vehicle. You can check him out online at kellysobxauto.com. Man, I'm full of myself today. Again, it's episode 123 of the podcast. We are halfway through the month of July, and man, it has been a beautiful summer. We've had some torrential downpours like last week. Oh my gosh, they got some crazy rain, or we got rather some crazy rain, at least on Roanoke Island last Thursday. My goodness, the downpours. There was, I don't know how many inches of rain fell in Manteo, but there was some flooding in different areas that we didn't know could flood, from the rain. Not from swell coming up, off the sound or anything in some of the back streets. I'm talking at the Dare County Library. There was a photograph put up by the county of the Dare County Library right there across from the elementary school in Manteo, and it looked like it was sitting on a lake. Like it was like an island on a lake. It was just water all the way around it. And I don't know how deep it was, but it was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of rain dumped in a short period of time. Flash floods, all that stuff. It was nuts. And I talked to some folks and said, man, they lived here for X amount of years and they'd never seen rain like that there. So the crazy thing is if you went to Wanchese, it was bone dry. Cloudy, but bone dry. Manteo caught the brunt of it. So, but despite that, we've had some pretty fantastic weather so far this summer. It's been hot. Of course, it's summertime, but I'll tell you, this past weekend I had a great time this past weekend. My wife and I packed up and went to Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. It's about 3 hours or so northwest of here. It's on Interstate 95 heading north. It's right there, pretty much on the North Carolina-Virginia line. And they had a theater there. It's like the Weldon Mills Theater. And we saw Mark Chestnut. Yes, old country star Mark Chestnut from the 90s. He performed live. He pointed at me, too. I was, pointing back at him and singing songs, and he actually pointed at your boy. Yeah, I was so thrilled with that. But I mean, my wife and I went, first time we gotten out of town, just the two of us, and we had a great time seeing that show, dancing, singing. We had an absolute ball, and I was very, very happy. I actually saw some local folk there too, but we had a great time, and I was glad to get out of town and do that. Got back on Saturday morning, got the boys, had a great day with them, went to Jack Brown's for dinner. If you get a chance to go to Jack Brown's right there on the beach road, I'm Post 8.5-ish or so, you need to go check that out. Burgers, fantastic food. I'm not much of a drinker, so I don't know about their alcohol selection. You guys that may like alcohol like that, go check out their beer selection. I hear it's phenomenal. But me, I'm a foodie. I'm going to eat what they got. And I had the Elvis burger, and it's got peanut butter and mayo and bacon and stuff like that on it. I know. Sounds delicious, doesn't it? It really was. My wife was like, yeah, you're going to eat that? And I was like, yeah. It was amazing. So good. So good. So if you get a chance to go to Jack Brown's, please do so. This past Sunday, church service was spectacular at my church this past Sunday. And again, I know we're not a religious podcast. I don't go down the religious, preaching the gospel or anything like that. But we do have a lot of great churches here on the Outer Banks. If you want to attend a Wednesday night service or check out a Sunday service before you check into your hotel or your house or whatever the case may be, do so. I go to Wanchi's Assembly of God. Pastor Kenny Midget does a fantastic job. I love Wanchi's Assembly. And I would love for you to come sit on a pew with me if you want to attend a service. Okay? Wanchi's Assembly. I'd love to have you. But there's also great churches all over the Outer Banks. Whatever your denomination, we got it. We got it. Okay? We're part of that Bible Belt. So if you want to attend a great church service, there's one to be had somewhere here on the Outer Banks. You're bound to get fed in that way. Great church service. I took it all in. It was wonderful. It was about discipleship. Loved it. Okay. And went to the beach Sunday afternoon. It was beautiful down there at Oregon Inlet. The water was nice. A few jellyfish started floating in, but you're at the ocean. The jellyfish are going to show up. It's just where they live. So but it was fine regardless. The jellyfish, you don't bother them. It's not like they're going to come and try to bother you. So just the water was clear, warm, nice day at the beach. Great weekend all the way around. Great start to the week. And I couldn't be more thrilled for what's to behold the rest of the summer. Coming up in this episode of the podcast, I got my buddy Greg Smrdel coming back in. Okay. He's got a few more books that just came out. He's like, hey man, I want to promote my books. I was like, well, come on in, let's promote your books. And then we're going to talk about some other things that Greg does just to remind you of the awesomeness that Greg withholds. So he'll be in a little bit to talk about that. Trying to think about any news. I think I already talked about some of the news as far as like the weather and everything with that crazy rain. But for all other news, you're going to want to go online to Sam Walker, obxnews.com. Love me some Sam Walker. I'm telling you, y'all know I'm a broken record when it comes to Sam, but he is the grand slam. Woo! Sam Walker. It's Sam Walker, obxnews.com. I was thinking about it just a moment ago before I really got started into the podcast. And there's also another, I was talking about the Windy app last week that you can put on your phone to see if there's any possible storms coming your way. There's also a gentleman on Facebook. It's called Mike's Weather Page. Mike's Weather Page. This dude, he's got all the spaghetti models and he's got all the different things different maps that you can look at. And he also tracks storms. Now, his stuff he considers he's unofficial, but he's pretty close and he's pretty accurate when it comes to different weather patterns and stuff like that. I don't know a whole lot about the guy, but I've been following his stuff for probably at least 10 years now. So Mike's Weather Page is another good source for looking at weather, especially when it comes to the tropics. I want to thank Miss Sarah Himmelwright for coming in last week talking about the Coastal Federation. If you haven't listened to episode 122 yet, please do so. The Coastal Federation provides great educational pieces, and they do a lot of things for our local estuaries here on the Outer Banks in eastern North Carolina, okay, and preserving our way of life with the waters and whatnot. They are wonderful people over the Coastal Federation. So I want to thank Sarah one more time for coming in, and I'll probably end up having her back in again sometime in the near future. So yeah, thank you, Sarah, for being a part of the podcast last week. Captain Marty, and we love the captain. I've been all over the place with the captain here lately. I've been taking it back and forth to eye doctor appointments, but coming up in the near future is the Boat Builders Foundation fishing tournament to benefit the scholarship fund that the Boat Builders Foundation has been doing for well over 20 years now. It's like 23 or 24 years. Make a long story short, that tournament's coming up next week, starting July 23rd. That's registration day. The 24th and the 25th are fishing days, and then they have a closeout thing on the 26th. So I'm going to be out there all week for that. I'll be the MC for the event, and it's a great way to, if you want to come and get dinner, it's $50 a plate. It's all you can drink at the bar. It's open bar. So there's something for you guys that like to have a beverage or a cocktail. You can come check that part out and just enjoy yourself. And that $50 goes back into the scholarship. So it's all great causes. Great causes, okay? I hope that you'll make a point to come out to Pirates Cove is where it's going to be held next week, the 23rd through the 26th. Let me see. What am I forgetting about the captain? There's something else I wanted to mention. Oh, to get more information about the Boat Builders tournament that's coming up, you can go listen to the Captain Marty Fishing show that we did last week from Bayless Boat Works. It's on his channel at Captain Marty. And if you're not familiar with how to find Captain Marty exactly, go to Google and type in the word Captain and the word Marty and click search. And it's the first thing that pops up. Make it simple. Here we go. That's what we do at Outer Banks this week. We try to make it simple for you to have the best vacation you could possibly have and to get all the information that you need right here. Simple stuff. All right. Oh gosh, coming up, we're going to jump into some shout outs. I really only have one shout out I want to give this week. But before we do that, I heard something about the 69 boys, cotton candy, sweet and low. Let me see that Tootsie. I don't even think that's the words, but I know Tootsie Roll's the right word. Yeah, the 69 boys were here this past weekend. I believe they were at the Jolly Roger. And I believe that's where your boy, Matty P, set up shop again. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to let him tell you all about how much fun he had with OBX After Dark with your boy, Matty P.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Matty P, back with another edition of OBX After Dark. Brought to you by the Jolly Roger, located at 6 3/4 mile post on the beach road in Kill Devil Hills. Y'all go see Miss Carol Ann and Miss Andrea there at the Jolly Roger. Get you some breakfast. Get you that trash plate. Have a couple Bloody Marys after a long night of partying and enjoy yourself, man. If you want to see their menu, they got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go to Jolly Roger, OBX. .com. Let's get right into it, man. Look, man, I went to Jolly Roger last week, but look, your boy Matty P had to make a second appearance this weekend, man, because y'all already know what it is. DJ Fresh was in the building. If y'all know some OBX local legends, DJ Fresh is one of them, man, spinning the tracks all night long at Jolly Rogers. Man, he used to pump it out at Kelly's, and before Kelly's closed, I had the lucky experience of getting to be there just one or two times to see DJ Fresh. And look, man, he came all the way up from Florida to bring you guys a great time this weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Your boy Matty P popped out on Saturday, and to my surprise, the 69 boys were in the house playing that Tootsie Roll. Look, man, I can't give it a BPL. And the reason I say that is because this place was packed. The BPL was unscorable. It was off the Richter scale. I couldn't even fathom the number one draft picks in the building on Saturday night. But look, man, if I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 10. That's my highest score ever. Couldn't beat it. 10 out of 10. BPL, the 69 boys, DJ Fresh. It was a great time. And look, man, if y'all looking for something fun to do, go down to the Jolly Roger. Have yourself a few drinks. Go see the great bartenders they got there and have a great night. Look, man, I'll see y'all next week for another edition of OBX After Dark. You gotta get in where you fit in. Yeah, I mean, 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.
Discover a timeless escape with Joe Lamb Jr. and Associates. Family owned for 3 generations and proudly serving the Outer Banks since 1968, we offer over 500 vacation homes, oceanfront, pet-friendly, and family-sized options available. Whether you're booking a getaway or buying your dream home, our trusted local team delivers personalized service and unmatched OBX expertise. Thousands of families have made memories with us. Let us help you make yours. Visit JoeLambJr.com, a timeless escape since 1968.
Looking for adventure? Head to Pirates Cove Marina in Mania, where exciting charter fishing meets waterfront vibes. Whether you're a seasoned angler or first-timer, enjoy offshore, nearshore, and inlet trips with expert crews and quality boats. Need fuel? Pirates Cove offers diesel and non-ethanol gas. Need rods, reels, bait, tackle, and marine supplies? Pirates Cove has that too. Visit their ship store for premium sunglasses, exclusive Pirates Cove gear, and unique gifts. After your trip, relax with snacks, cold drinks, and stunning marina views. Book your charter today at fishpiratescove.com or stop by for a day of adventure, shopping, and relaxation. Catch the big one and make unforgettable memories at Pirates Cove Marina in Manio. All right, it's time to jump into some shout outs. And again, if you're a listener of the podcast, let me know. Justin at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. You got any questions about anything? Justin at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. I would love to answer your questions. I would love to give you a shout out. Please let me know. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to talk to you. You can ask anybody who's emailed me asking questions. I always email them back. It might not be right away because I do have things that I do other than the podcast, but I will email you back as soon as I can and as accurately and as efficiently with whatever question you're asking as I can. So Justin at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. I want to shout out one more time to David and May Spruill. Okay. This was the couple that, if you remember a few episodes back, I could not remember their names. They come in, they play trivia with me at McGrath's Burger Shack on a regular basis. And I love them so much. They're a lot of fun, super sweet folks. And they always take a moment during gameplay. If there's some people sitting next to them that they don't know or whatnot, they always share the podcast with these individuals. This past week, they were playing and there was a couple sitting in the bar close to them. And Mr. David was showing on his phone the podcast to this couple and say, man, you really need to listen to Justin's podcast. And I appreciate that so much. When you all share the podcast with your friends, it means the world to me. And it meant the world to me that he was doing that night. And I know he does it other places. And I know he wasn't just doing it he was doing it because he actually listens and loves the podcast and he actually appreciates the things. He's actually given me some good ideas for future episodes, which I'm going to investigate further. So Mr. David, Miss May, thank you all so much for just being advocates of the podcast, for being super cool individuals and just being all around great people. We really appreciate it. And I appreciate you so much. So that to me was worthy of a shout out. And I thank you so very much. And again, like they do, share this podcast with your friends. If you got people that love coming to the Outer Banks, that know the Outer Banks and want to know more about the Outer Banks, that's what we do here at Outer Banks This Week. Okay. It's what we love to do. So please share this podcast with your friends and family. We really appreciate it. One more quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, the Godfather, as I call him in a lot of ways, Mr. Greg Smrdel.
Hi, I'm LB Daniels, and when you want great local seafood, you go to Fresh Catch Seafood in Wanchese. How do I know it's great? My daddy is one of the fishermen that brings it to the docks. At Fresh Catch Seafood, you will get local seafood right from their fish house. They are a family-owned business that knows the name of every fisherman that comes to their docks. Visit their social media pages to see the latest catches. My daddy would love to put his tuna on your dinner plate, so get it now from Fresh Catch Seafood in Wanchese.
Discover the Cotton Gin, an Outer Banks landmark with over 60 years of family tradition. With locations in Nags Head, Duck, and Corolla, we offer a unique shopping experience featuring exclusive brands like Pandora, Vera Bradley, Vineyard Vines, and Southern Tide, plus an extensive selection of coastal decor. Be sure to enjoy a wine tasting at Sanctuary Vineyards in Jarvisburg, where local award-winning wines meet scenic vineyard views. To get a better glimpse at what awaits, visit us online at cottongin.com. Whether you're exploring gifts, fashion, or flavors, the Cotton Gin and Sanctuary Vineyards have the true taste of the Outer Banks you've been looking for.
All right, as promised, and I promised a lot of things. Most of the time I deliver, and I'm definitely delivering right now. I got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Greg Smrdel, joining us back in the studio again. Yay!
Sounds like my obituary, the man, the myth, the legend. And he's gone now.
No, definitely didn't mean it that way, but Greg's in here. He's going to talk to us. He's got some books that he has written, released, and they are very, very nicely published, might I say. I have not had a chance to crack the cover yet, but I appreciate you bringing some copies in here. First, let's start, man. How have you been? You've been doing good? Good summer?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a rough start to the summer.
Okay.
I, as you know, had some emergency eye surgery, but things are healing and we're getting back to normal. So
yeah, that scared me that day when you were like, hey, you called me and I couldn't pick up. And then you texted me, you're like, call me back right away. And I was like, oh no. And I called you, you're like, hey man, I need you to get me covered at New Vines. I'm like, Gotcha, boss.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, thanks to you for filling in for that month at doing trivia at New Vines and helping out. And thanks to all the other people that work with us, Jody and Moose and Amy.
Dude, great team.
Yeah.
Great team. A lot of
We'll help
radio
each
people
other.
there.
Yeah, right. Well, that's conscious. That was a conscious decision. It was to, get some people that aren't afraid to get behind a microphone and perform a little bit.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm glad to see you're doing better.
Thank you.
Glad to have you in here.
You.
Great guy sitting across from me. He does a lot of different things. Like I said, the trivia being one piece of it, the Mania walking tour being another piece, which we'll talk a little bit more about both of those things in a few. But we're here right now to talk about these new books. You just did a book signing last week at Downtown Books.
Right.
And you've gotten these, I mean... let me ask you one other question. And this is honestly, in a lot of ways, a serious question, but you might think I'm joking. When do you get a chance to sleep?
I don't sleep much.
I know.
And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because I wish I could sleep 8 hours a day. I truly wish I could. But, I'm usually a 5 hour, 5.5 hour kind of guy. And I don't like that. I wish I could sleep more, but I'm just one of those guys. It's like when it doesn't matter what time I go to bed. Like Mondays and Tuesdays are my late night with trivia. Mm-hmm. I didn't get home until almost midnight last night, which was, I know this is coming out on Thursday, but I'm still up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. I can go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. I'm up at 4:30, 5 in the morning. I go to bed at midnight, 1 in the morning. I'm still up 4:30 or 5 in the morning. So
I was going to say there's been times where you and I have conversed early in the morning via text message.
Yeah, like at 5 a.m.
Yes,
because you're out to the fitness deal.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the gym and work out. Greg, he's writing a book. He's getting trivia ready for the week for all of us to go and do, or he's getting prepped up and ready to go out and do a walking tour.
Yeah.
Greg is somebody that, excuse my language, but you work your ass off.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? You're all over the place. So let's start talking about these books. All right. The book I'm holding in my hand, Blackbeard and Friends, The Golden Age of Piracy. So, friends as in like Blackbeard had friends?
Well, other pirates.
Okay.
So I talked about some other pirates in the book in addition to just Blackbeard. And let me just kind of preface this part of the conversation if I could.
Okay.
I put out those 3 books within the last couple of months, and that seems like a lot in a short amount of time. But I hadn't put anything out in like 2.5, maybe 3.5 years. I forget what it was.
Really?
And I made the mistake of starting 6 projects at once, which kind of like meant nothing got accomplished. So now all of that 2.5 or 3.5 years, whatever it was, is now coming to fruition as I complete some of these projects. So the one you have in your hand, the Blackbeard book, honest to God, that started out as a college paper.
No kidding.
That was a paper I had started writing for a college class at the Ohio State University, by the way.
The Ohio State national champions for football last year. Okay.
And then I was just going through some things at home, and I ran across my oldest grandson, Jake, dressed in a pirate's costume. Remember we had the pirate adventure thing here in downtown Manio?
Yes, I do.
It was him on that. And I thought, you know what? I've got that thing. That paper tucked away in a box somewhere, and I pulled it out. And you'll notice too that the dedication to this book is to my grandson Jake. And I decided to finish it up, and that's what you got.
That's pretty awesome. So you go through, you talk about Blackbeard, you talk about the other pirates of the Outer Banks and everything like that. Yeah, that's pretty rad, and it's very well published, very well put together.
Thank you.
I do need to tell you though. Let me back up just a second. When I was doing trivia one night at McGrath's,
right?
There was
at the Outer Banks Mall, McGrath's Burger Shack, Wednesdays at 6. Justin Bateman is the host out there.
Thank you for that plug. Yep. I had a couple or a group in there, and there was a couple sitting with this group, and we were doing trivia, and something came up, and I was I work for a gentleman named Greg Smrdel who he puts all this together. I call him the godfather of the trivia scene here on the beach. And the people looked, they said, Greg Smrdel, the author? And I was like, yes, actually. And they were like, we have some of his books. And I didn't get a chance to ask them I didn't get their names. I didn't get a chance to ask them about the books that they had because we were right in the middle of a game. But it was just like, interesting
nice
how.
to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, that there was a couple. They have some of your books, and I think I think they were from Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. Some of your home folk.
Yeah, it all circles back, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. All right, so you've got the Blackbeard and Friends book. You've also got Trivia Night: Murder on the Outer Banks.
All right, so
Let's talk. Yes.
well, the back cover there, I'll give you the synopsis of the book, but here's the deal. All right, you do trivia, right? I do trivia, right? So this is basically a story about a guy who's a trivia host, like you, like me.
Okay.
On the Outer Banks, we use real places in there. New Vines being one of them. The big finale kind of takes place at New Vines.
Okay.
It's about a guy who hosts trivia that turned serial killer. So as you know, you've got some teams and some people on your teams that kind of just wish they would just be a little bit quiet, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Not
yes.
be a jerk, that kind of a thing. Well, this guy takes it into his own hands, and he's got people that show up at his trivia nights and they're jerks, so he decides he needs to kill them after the game is over. So I don't know where the whole premise of that book came up, but that's what the story is about. And I will tell you, too, because a lot of people are like, well, this is a little bit different of a mystery kind of a story. And it is, because you know almost from page one who the killer is. And I just told you who the killer is. Mostly when you read a mystery, it's, well, you wait till the end to see who it is. Well, this one you know from page one, but it's more of a mystery. And how does he get captured?
Okay.
That's more what the mystery is.
You got the SBI gets involved here, launching high stakes sting operation.
Yeah. So the high stakes sting. So Reese, who works over at the Downtown Books here in Manio, she goes, I want to be in that book. I said, all right, do you want to be somebody killed, or do you want to be somebody that captures the killer? And she goes, I want to capture the killer. So Reese Roy is the name of the SBI agent that you bring up.
Okay.
And Chloe Roy is the manager at Downtown Books. So I combined those two, Reese Roy, into one character there. So
I got it. That's pretty rad. So this one's a little bit of like, so your pirate read, not the super long read. That's good. That's good. You know, for a quick read, you're looking for something. Your pirate read about Blackbeard and Friends, little, it could be a quick one. Your Trivia Night: Murder on the Outer Banks, a little bit more meat to it, a little bit beefier.
Yep.
Something that you could pick up and read in a couple days, depending on how
Laying
fast
on
you
the
read.
beach or whatever.
Yes. Yes. Now, after that, we go into something that I feel like if there was a professor of Andy Griffith, anything, if there was a class that people could take on the history of Andy Griffith, you would be the PhD professor of said class. And this is Andy Griffith Show, a true American classic.
Right.
Talk to me about this book.
So, you know, I put out another Andy Griffith book earlier, which was the Andy Griffith Show, a complete trivia guide. So that was mostly trivia questions having to do with characters, having to do with episodes, having to do with locations. It was just a book of trivia questions and their answers. This one now is more kind of a history of the show. It takes you from start to finish. And we talk about how Mayberry was cast as this idyllic town where, you know, neighbors helped out neighbors and stuff. But then we also talked about how it was set against the backdrop of what was really happening in America. You had the civil rights movement going on.
Right.
You had Vietnam War going on. So all of that stuff. And that's why this town of Mayberry was created as an idyllic setting to kind of take us away from what we were seeing on the news each and every night with the protests, the racial violence and everything else. So it kind of explains some of that.
Okay.
It explains how Mayberry was put together. We go a little bit more in depth on the character. We talk more about Andy. We talk about, Don Knotts and what he meant to the show. And
Love Don Knotts.
Favorite character on the show was Howard McNear, who played Floyd the Barber. And I actually I took the dialogue from a scene of the Andy Griffith Show, which I think is the best dialogue ever written on American TV. Now, I would say the world, but I haven't seen a lot of British stuff and
yes,
so forth.
of course.
But I would say on American TV, it's the greatest dialogue scene ever written. And you talk about Jerry Seinfeld in the show About Nothing. Andy did this when Jerry was still in diapers. It was a scene where it was nothing. It was him and Floyd the barber sitting on a bench outside of Floyd's barber shop. And it was just like, it's hot. Yeah, 94.
Yeah.
They say that, and I forget the exact lines now, but
right. Yeah, of course.
Everybody complains about the weather, but they don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Calvin Coolidge said that. And he's like, no, it wasn't Calvin Coolidge. It was Mark Twain. Oh. Did Calvin Coolidge get it from Mark Twain? No. And it was just nothing. It was just but it was the most hysterical scene, I think, ever in American TV. Well, and so I included that scene in the book, and so you can read it. And it doesn't read funny. That's the thing. It doesn't read funny, but it was the way that they did it.
Well, and back to like what you were saying, it took everybody away from what was going on in the world that day. Civil rights, Vietnam War.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that the Andy Griffith Show did to kind of get you away from that, the reality of all of that mess that we were going through as a country.
Right.
And if you think about it, a lot of conversations take place that way between friends. Mm-hmm. They'll be sitting down somewhere. They'll be like, hey, man, hey, how's it going? Good.
Yeah.
Man, it's hot out here. Gosh, it's hot. Like that is real life.
Right.
To me, it's real life. It's as real as it gets. And I mean, that's in a lot of ways what the Andy Griffith Show did.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, the thing that I like to point out, especially on the walking tours, and you always see me wearing these shirts that I had for sale once upon a time, Make America Mayberry Again. Because it's good. Like, again, we got all this vitriol going on in the world right now, whether it's right or left, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's still going on. Let's get back to a place where it was, a nicer time.
Right.
And that's what I was trying to get to when I had, the T-shirts and stuff, the bumper stickers, Make America Mayberry Again. Because that would be a nice thing. And you know what? We kind of have Mayberry right here. The town that we're sitting in, Manteo.
I was going to ask you if
it's
you felt...
actually the town that Andy said in several different interviews, including Angel's Manteo book, The History of Manteo, Angel Corey, of course. And he said, Mayberry is not Mount Airy. If it's any place, it's Manteo, North Carolina. And as we know, Andy lived here for 56 years, about a mile and a half from where we're sitting right now. And I
think the anniversary of his death wasn't too long
July
ago.
July 3rd,
I was gonna say, when did right before the 4th? I knew that. I just couldn't remember
July
the day.
July 3rd, 2012, yeah. So that wasn't that long ago, just a couple weeks ago. But so that's, whether it was a conscious decision to do this in those socioeconomical times, I looked that word up, so I can use it today. Or not, I don't know. Maybe it was just dumb luck, but it was this place that they could bring people to once a week on CBS TV where they can turn off the body bags and the dogs attacking protesters in the South and so forth.
And see, that was before my time, but I've seen footage, I've heard the stories from, my parents and my grandparents and, things of that nature. And I mean, I've had family that was in Vietnam. So, again, I could see where you draw that conclusion, and it's probably right accurate. It probably might have been where the director and the producers were at that point. They were like, we got to do something different here.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And it was just coming out of the 50s. So you had a lot of those TV shows like that anyway, Make Room for Daddy and Leave It to Beaver and those, and, even Lucy. But they weren't really creating an idyllic setting like the Andy Griffith Show did with Mayberry. They were just, father went to work, the mother stayed at home. And then, even on the Andy Griffith Show, there was no mother. That was something different too, So it kind of, again, whether they did it purposely or by accident, they kind of broke down some fences and barriers and what American television was. So starting in 1960.
Right. So this book actually kind of goes through, the back end to kind of what, for say it that way, but, kind of goes through the background of, potentially why the show was created and just everything that we just kind of discussed.
Yeah.
So this goes through it a little deeper than what we just discussed.
Yeah, and it brings it all the way up to the Return to Mayberry, the movie that came out in 1986.
Okay.
You know, the show went off the air in 1968. In 86, they did that reunion movie. So we talk about that in there. And we have a list of a lot of the guest stars that were there. Jack Nicholson was in a couple of episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. Don Rickles was in an episode or two of the Andy Griffith Show. And, you know, some of these big Hollywood elite, you know, the guy that played Skipper, Alan Hale Jr. on Gilligan's Island, he played Jeff Pruitt on the Andy Griffith Show. So there's a lot of these guest stars there that you might not have known were in the show, but I list those characters towards the back of the book as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, these books, where can we find them?
Downtown Books locally is where you can get all of them, including the other novels that I've written up to this point. So you can get them all at Downtown Books here in Manio.
Okay. All right. Good to know. And they actually have an online portal that you can order from, I believe. So if you're listening to this and you're not here on the Outer Banks or you can't get down here this year, you can definitely, I think it's downtownbooksobx.com, if I remember right. Type in Downtown Books OBX into Google. I'm willing to bet. Sure. Bam, it's right there.
It'll come up, yeah.
So, well, that's great. And I mean, again, I asked kind of in a way, kind of humorously, but at the same time, I mean, the man he doesn't sleep often because he's always busy. I mean, if you're not writing books, which these great thank you for bringing these in.
Thank you.
You got your radio station, Radio Free Outer Banks. That's online. Talk to me. What are we doing with Radio Free Outer Banks right now?
Well, it's what we call is the best in coastal Americana music, which is, you know, basically a fancy way of saying trop rock. So think Jimmy Buffett, think Bob Marley, that kind of stuff. And we've got some, you know, other people that are regional people that we play. The Barcats who play here, we have two of their songs on there. Of course, Mojo, we play a few of his songs.
Play Mojo.
And who else locally? Johnny Waters, we have one of his songs.
Johnny.
Slack Tide, which is a new band that I just came across. I think I'm not sure exactly where they are, but they're somewhere regionally.
Okay.
And we've got some guys like Lapaka Roots from Hawaii. He's going to be playing at Howard's Tap Shack next month.
Okay.
So he comes to the Outer Banks to perform. And we've got our standbys, Percy Abel, Jamie Trent, and those guys that have been with us since the beginning. So it's trop rock. So it's like vacation music, right? We call it your vacation station. So, you know, if you go to the beach, take your cell phone. I'm sure you're taking your cell phone anyway. Download the app, which is, you know, Radio Free OBX on the App Store, and listen to us at the beach. Take us along wherever you go and listen to us in the car.
Bluetooth it in.
Yeah.
It's the technology these days, baby.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
See, not only is he still writing novels, but he's technologically advanced.
Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, no, I'm not. You know, it's funny because just the other day I was helping somebody download the app onto their phone, and they're going, "Is your name Bryant?" And I'm like, "No, it says it's developed by Brian." I said, "Yeah, that's my son. I don't know how to do this stuff. He did it for me."
So you got Radio Free Outer Banks. You've got yourself. You're one of the DJs. You got who else is DJing on there with you?
John Harper. He does a couple of shows for us. He does Flashback at 11 every Saturday at 11.
John Harper.
He'll pick out a year and he'll play 13, 14 songs, tell us what happened during that year in America in sports and here locally on the Outer Banks. He also does The British Are Coming, which is sponsored by the Lost Colony Tavern. That is Sundays at noon. So it's all, you know, they celebrate British food from Scotland and Wales as well. And that's right. John plays an hour's worth of British music, Scottish music. You know, like when I say Scottish, I mean like
no, of course, Bay
City Rollers or whatever.
Yeah.
Scotland and Wales. There's a lot of U2, a lot of Van Morrison, and you know Eric Clapton, and a lot of that stuff. So that's The British Are Coming every Sunday at noon. Amy Kramer, who lives here in Manio, she does the afternoon sale every Sunday afternoon at 2. We've got a buddy of mine, Mike Wypasek. He goes by Sonny Vance on the air. Mike and I went to the same high school, although he's considerably older than I am and more successful. He's a lawyer, and he worked at the same high school radio station that I started out.
Oh, okay.
And he's also a stand-up comedian. That's where we met. dude, can I do a show? So he does a show Tuesday nights at 9 called Sonny Vance Show. It's the finest in freeform radio.
Finest in freeform.
We've got Sherry Hanlon does the Coastal Rhythm Show on Fridays. Chuck Costanzo does the Bluegrass Hour every Friday night at 10.
Okay.
So we got quite a bit of different stuff going on.
Big staff.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right. So Radio Free Outer Banks.
Maybe one day we'll get Justin on.
Maybe. We can talk about it.
All right.
We can talk about it. So Radio Free Outer Banks, great. RadioFreeOuterBanks.com. And also you got the app for it. So people can download that.
And you can listen to it on Alexa too. Just tell Alexa to play Radio Free Outer Banks.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a smart device, smart way to do it,
right.
coming from a smart guy.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, you also walk-in tours. Still got them up and going, I know.
Yeah, they are. We were down for a month, though, when I had the eye issue, but we're back up and running again. We do those Monday through Friday. We do them at 10 in the morning. A couple of reasons why. Number one, at night, there's already a bunch of tours, and we were all tripping all over each other. So it's like, well, what's the point?
Right.
Secondly, at night, I'm also doing trivia or stand-up comedy, so I didn't have the availability. And I thought, well, maybe this will give somebody an alternative. They want to take the walking tour, but they've got dinner plans, or they're going to the Lost Colony Outdoor Drama, or whatever it is. They can take the tour during the day. We do it Monday through Friday at 10 a.m., and I'm also open to do it at other times. I mean, if you get a hold of me and say we can't do 10, can we do 1 in the afternoon, or can we do 8 in the morning? We'll figure out a way and we'll get it done. So, yeah, absolutely.
They can go online. Was it maniawalkingtour.com?
That's correct. Yeah, maniawalkingtour.com.
Can get a hold of you that way to schedule the tour and whatnot, and to talk if they need to.
Or get a hold of me on Facebook. Or I'm not hard to get a hold of.
No, you can find Greg. Greg's easy to find. There's no doubt there, because I mean, you also with the trivia, you have a Facebook page dedicated to just that, Greg Smrdel Outer Banks Trivia
and Music Bingo.
Yep. That's right. Okay, I knew there was it was not a lengthy title, but it was longer than just that.
Yeah,
and you post a lot there for when you're doing Music Bingo and when you're doing trivia, and for all of us, honestly, for Jody, Moose, myself, Amy, where can people talk to me? Give me just a quick little rundown of a week, like a regular, normal trivia week.
All right. Well, we do it 7 days a week.
Okay.
So on Mondays, Moose is doing the Nags Head Eagles Club at 6.
Okay.
And for those that don't know, the Nags Head Eagles Club is open to the public for trivia. So you don't have to be a member of the Eagles Club.
That is good to know.
If you're, just down here on vacation, or if you live in the neighborhood and you want to play, you can go there and play. 9 o'clock in Duck at Sunset Grill. That's where I'm at Monday nights.
All right.
So that's our Monday. Tuesday, what do we got? Sandtrap Tavern. That's Amy. That's in Kitty Hawk, the Seascape Golf Course. BJ's Carolina Cafe up there in Currituck. That's where Jody's at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. 6 o'clock on Tuesday, I'm at Timbuktu Shopping Center in Kerala at Wild Goose Wine Bar. I do either trivia or music bingo there. We switch off week to week. And then once that's done, I pack up the gear, head south to Duck to Sunset Grill, back there a second night in a row to do trivia. That's at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Wednesday, you're at McGrath's Burger Shack at 6.
Yes.
Amy is typically at Buffalo City Distillery at 6. I'm at the Outer Banks Beach Club. That's that timeshare community in Kill Devil Hills, the one with the round buildings.
Mm-hmm.
We do trivia there at 5. And then once I'm done there, come back to Manio, do Lost Colony Tavern Wednesdays at 7.
Okay.
So that's our Wednesday night. Thursday, I am back at the Outer Banks Beach Club. We do music bingo at 4 in the afternoon. Wrap that up, come to New Vines and do trivia at 6:30. Moose is up in Duck at Sunset Grill doing music bingo. Friday, tap that OBX. That's where you'll find Jody.
Okay.
They're on the beach road in Kitty Hawk, right next door to Art's Place. He's got trivia there at 6:30. Sunday, Jody's at Jolly Roger at 6 o'clock. Or Saturday, I mean. He's at Jolly Roger at 6. I'm at Lost Colony Tavern at 7 doing music bingo. And then we wind up the what's the word I'm looking for? Round up the week. We finish the week.
There we go.
Sunday at the Sandtrap Tavern at 6 doing music bingo.
Very
and
cool.
It's either usually me or Amy doing that.
Gotcha.
So
now, sometimes the locations, depending on the time of the year, because I know like Harbor Grill in Collington also does.
They'll do it in the off season.
Yes.
Yeah. Noosa Beach Grill will do it in the off season. Shipwrecks will do it in the off season. Plus, we're going to be starting in September a brand new place too.
Really?
1903 Bar and Kitchen.
I got
the
you.
old Two Roads in Seagate North Shopping Center. In September, we're starting to do that. And we're doing a comedy show there.
No kidding. Okay, I was going to ask if you had any comedy shows, any shows coming up in the near future.
It's Friday, September the 5th.
Friday, September 5th.
At 1903 Bar and Kitchen.
Okay.
We're doing comedy there. It's going to be Mike Conley, very funny guy. Mike was kind of my mentor when I started off doing comedy about 15 years ago, whatever it was. Hatton Jordan from Virginia Beach, he'll be down to be the featured act, and I'll MC the show. That's going to be Friday, September the 5th at 1903.
Okay. Time still, like, is there going to be tickets?
Still
working out those?
We're still working out the details. We just figured this out just within the last couple of days.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll certainly get all the ticket information out there. Likely eventbrite.com is where you'll find it.
Okay.
Matter of fact, that's where you will find it, is eventbrite.com.
Just lock it in your calendar for September 5th that 5th. Evening. Don't make any plans except to be there for that.
That's correct.
Let me let my wife know. She'll lock it down because she's been wanting to, ever since they've opened, she's been wanting to go. I'm willing to bet she'll get in there between now and then at some point, but more the reason to go.
Yeah.
We went to your comedy show at Jolly's.
You did.
And that was a
and
great
you sat
time,
in the front row.
Well, of course. I didn't have a choice.
Mistake.
Well, let's think about this for a minute.
Who sat you there?
Gosh, you know what? I walk in and this studly looking gentleman says, "You're sitting over here." And I didn't have much of a choice. And I got a good look at said studly gentleman. And I was like, oh, it's Greg.
Yeah.
He's making us sit up front. And my wife was like, ugh. And I was like, whatever, I'll be the target. They can make me the target. That's fine.
I think I targeted your wife on one joke, if I remember right.
I do. You did. I don't remember exactly what, but I mean, it wasn't too.
It wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all. No, absolutely not.
But your wife's a good laugher, so we want to keep her up front.
Yeah. But that was a good time. So I encourage anybody, if you get an opportunity to go to one of Greg's shows that he puts on for comedy, you're guaranteed to have a lot of fun. You're going to laugh. You're going to laugh so hard you cry. You might pee on yourself. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. I can attest to that because I've been there. So
I appreciate it. We, in the summers past, the last 3 or 4 summers, we've done the Laughing Gull Comedy Club. We didn't do that this summer.
Okay.
And again, it's because I've got so many other things going on. Amy's got a lot of stuff going on. She's my business partner, Amy Hill, and all of this. And so we just couldn't quite commit to a weekly comedy club 1 or 2 or 3 nights a week. So we're just going to do spot shows here and there, and we'll continue that through the off season as well.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, looking forward to that. September 5th. Mark your calendars. 1903 Bar
and Kitchen.
And Kitchen right there. It used to be 2 Roads. Was it the Seagate North Shopping Center?
Correct. Yeah,
in Killable Hills.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so we've talked about trivia. We've talked about the Mania Walking Tour. We've talked about the comedy. I was going to go there next and see what you had coming up. I mean, I feel like we've covered the spectrum. I don't know that we've left any. The thing is I really rack my brain with you, Greg, because you do so many things. I got to make sure that I hit everything. And I feel like I have. Is there anything I've forgotten? I
don't believe so. I think we're good to go there. The next book, by the way, should be out sometime this fall.
Okay.
And if I'll just give you a little preview on it. Yeah, it's a guy, and there was a documentary on, and again, I was doing all these projects, these 6 books simultaneously. So a lot of them go back some time. So about, 5 or 6 years ago, there was a documentary on about Glenn Campbell. I don't know if you saw this, when he was going through Alzheimer's. And he had, and it was he was out on the road touring, and he had Alzheimer's, and it really just struck me. So the book it's about a guy who receives a diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's. He lives in Freehold, New Jersey, just happens to live at 68 South Street, which is the house that Bruce Springsteen grew up in.
Okay.
And he bought the house, not because he was necessarily a fan, but he bought the house when Bruce was starting to become a name.
Okay.
And he thought, well, this might be a good investment one day if I own the house that Bruce grew up in. So he lives in Freehold, New Jersey, in Bruce's old house. gets this diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's, and he puts together a bucket list of things he wanted to get accomplished before he slips into the darkness, as they say. And he visits his wife died a number of years ago. A lot of my characters in my books, their wives are dead. And my wife died at an early age, and I think that's partly why I go there. But he visits his wife at the cemetery, kind of breaks down because he knows someday he's going to forget her. And one of the things on the bucket list is to take batting practice with the New York Mets.
Okay.
That's one of the things. And then he also wants to write a book. He wants to put down his entire story before he forgets. So the only place he could really do this, he found out, was the house that he and his wife honeymooned in, which happens to be in Kerala. So he's in Kerala writing the book. He has encounters with the wild horses up there. And then he's putting together all of his stuff. One of his two kids, Gary, is a writer. He's a sports writer.
Okay.
And then the way it's going to end is that the guy's name is Steve Harley Davidson. So Harley is going to go full-blown Alzheimer's and not really finish the book. His son Gary finds it and then finishes the book for his dad and publishes the book. So that's the storyline.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. You said that'll be out this fall?
It'll be out this fall. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Greg, hey, I appreciate you coming in. Again, there's not many things that this gentleman sitting across from me does not do. So rest assured, if you spend any amount of time on the Outer Banks, you've probably come across him. If you haven't realized it, you've probably participated in something that he's had his hand in. This man really pours back into the community around here. And I know that we're all thankful to have him here. So
thank you. I'm thankful for you having me here. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You know that, man. I appreciate it. You know that. I say that all the time.
Yes. Yes, you do. Well, Greg, thanks for coming in. And again, you can find out a lot more about his books. You can go online. You can search for Downtown Books on online. You can type in Downtown Books OBX in the search bar on Google, and you can find his books there. ManiaWalkingTour.com. You can find him on social media. Not hard to find Greg. If you want to find him, he can be found.
For sure.
Greg, thanks for coming in, man.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Discover the Elizabethan Gardens on Roanoke Island, a stunning 10-acre botanical garden where beauty blooms year-round. Seasonal changes bring vibrant flowering plants, shrubs, and trees, while historic touches like ancient Italian statuary add timeless charm. With ever-changing horticultural collections, dazzling annual color, and butterfly releases every Wednesday and Friday, each visit is a new experience. Visit ElizabethanGardens.org and experience a garden that keeps you coming back again and again.
Ahoy there, folks. Captain Edward Lee here, and I want to invite you aboard the Miss Oregon Inlet 2. She's a modern 60-foot head boat outfitted with the latest top-quality safety and fishing equipment. We make 3 trips per day out of the world-famous Oregon Inlet Fishing Center. Visit MissOregonInlet.com or call us today at 252-251-4314. So ditch the beach for a bit and set sail with the Miss Oregon Inlet 2.
All right, we're going to jump into some events, and all the events that I'm going to mention can be found online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. OuterBanksThisWeek.com is where you will find all the events and all the parties that you want to have on the beach. That's where you find them online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. We're going to start with Live from OBX. And before I talk about the next upcoming shows, I do have a special episode of the podcast I will be dropping in the near future. I will be doing an interview with Cool and the Gang. They're going to be here on August the 31st, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check my calendar on that one. Let me get my papers out. Yeah, the 30th, August 30th. They will be here at Festival Park here in Manio. So, but I have a phone interview I'll be doing with them in the near future. So be standing by to listen for that, because that's going to be a good time. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. And the feet. All right, I'll stop. Okay, but yeah, Live from OBX coming up Tuesday, July 22nd. Whiskey Myers with Josh Malloy and the Drop Tines As well as Wednesday, July 23rd, it's Aaron Lewis and the Stateliners with Colin Stowe and RT Johnson. Yes, gates are going to be at 5 o'clock. Show's going to start at 6. You can go online to livefromobx.com to get your tickets for either of those shows. Guaranteed to be great shows. And RT Johnson, he's kind of a local boy. He's been in and out of the Outer Banks a bunch of times. The fact that he's going to be one of the openers for Aaron Lewis, fantastic stuff. Love us some RT Johnson here on the Outer Banks. So yeah, again, that's Whiskey Myers with Josh Malloy. Tuesday, July 22nd, July 23rd, Aaron Lewis, the Stateliners with Colin Stowe and RT Johnson. Again, gates at 5, show at 6, and you can get your tickets online at livefromobx.com. All right, let's take a look at some of the other events. I'm going to hit the noteworthy ones. I was thinking about it, and I was going through this calendar, our calendar online, and there are so many things, y'all. I cannot stop and mention everything. I can mention the fact that there's a lot of activities taking place in Nags Head. Duck's got a lot of things going on. The aquarium has a lot of stuff. Frisco, there's a latte dance party going on at Alien Java Company this Thursday, or today rather, the dropping of this podcast, at 11 to 1. So if you're hearing this early enough, you want to get to the latte dance party, you can go be a part of that over at Alien Java in Frisco. Lots of things going on that direction. There's lots of activities taking place all across the board. Let me see if I can find some of the main points. Ride the Wind in Ocracoke turns 40. This coming Friday, the 18th, 6 o'clock. They're going to be having a party down there at Ride the Wind Surf Shop in Ocracoke. Let's take a look at. Let's do a deeper dive into this. I'm going to click on the link and see where it takes me. Mark your calendars, book your trip, call your friends, because Ride the Wind is 40th birthday party happening down in Ocracoke. They hope to see you there. Scrolling down, there's lots of things going on in the Elizabethan Gardens. Here was something going on. Coming up at Parks and Rec and Family Recreation Park in Kill Devil Hills is Family Fun in the Park. We're celebrating 40 years of Parks and Rec. Okay, the Parks and Rec department here in Dare County celebrating 40 years. I am actually the chair of the Parks and Rec department here in Dare County. And we're having a big block party, okay? This coming Friday, July 18th, 5 until 8 o'clock at Dare County Parks and Recreation in Kill Devil Hills. Would love to see you there. You want to come hang out, check out the facilities, grab a bite to eat. It's free. So again, family fun in the park, Parks and Recreation, celebrating 40 years of fun here on the Outer Banks with Parks and Rec in Kill Devil Hills, Friday, July 18th, 5 until 8 o'clock. Let's keep going. Ty Fleming. Got to mention Ty. Ty Fleming's going to be playing at Fish Heads Friday evening, July 18th from 7 to 10. So there's something else you can do. Hang out with Ty Fleming. Again, the man who created Chris Stapleton. That's Ty Fleming. He'll be at Fish Heads on Friday night. Manio Downtown Market. That's actually where my next podcast will be from. And I'll talk more about that later. But that's happening this Saturday, July 19th from 9 until 1. Surfing for Autism at Jeanette's Pier from 8 to 1 is going to be going on Saturday morning as well. So there's that's happening. Let's see. Keep going into Sunday. Lots of things going on at Fish Heads, NC Coast, the Whalehead Brewery in Corolla, Buffalo City Distillery's got some fun things taking place over there. The Jolly Rogers having their Sunday pool tournament. Yes, indeed. That's something that's going on starting at 6:30 Sunday evening at Jolly Roger in Kill Devil Hills. So many more things taking place. I've talked about Whiskey Myers. I've talked about all the other activities at Festival Park. But again, you can find all of the activities and the events and things and more. And more. I got to stop saying that because it sounds so daggum cheesy when people go, and more, and more. So I'm going to stop that now. But you can find all of these events and things online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. All right. Let's wrap this thing up. I don't think that I forgot anything. I do want to mention one more time, though, that I will be doing my podcast recording. I found some of my wireless capabilities so I don't have to lug around my board everywhere anymore. I found some of my wireless capabilities, and I'm going to be walking around at the Manio Farm Market this coming Saturday to talk to some of the vendors, talk to some of the townspeople, and let y'all hear all about what's going on. So if you're coming into town, if you want to kill some time before you can check into your beach house, I suggest going and checking that out on Saturday morning, starting at 9 o'clock. I'll be out there walking around, and if you want to find me, just look for the guy with the microphone, and I'll put you on the podcast. I'll interview you. So there we go. Again, online, OuterBanksThisWeek.com is where you can find all these events that are taking place. Oh, gosh, I think I just went backwards. Let me go back forwards. I do want to thank Greg Smrdel for coming in. Again, dude is all over the place with the Mania Walking Tour. He's writing books. He's got Radio Free Outer Banks. He is the, I call him the godfather of the trivia scene here on the Outer Banks. I work for Greg doing trivia at McGrath's. Greg helps formulate the questions. He formulated the game. I go and do the game and just... And I give him a percentage of the money that I make. And it's easy. It's fun. It's a great time. If you haven't done trivia with me at McGrath's Burger Shack, you need to do it. You're going to have fun for sure. And all the other places that he does it as well. All right. Again, I'll be at the Mania Farm Market. That's going to be my podcast for next week. I do have that interview with Cool and the Gang coming up, and I do have a lot more podcast things that are going to be taking place in the near future. I just got to figure out a way to organize it all. So again, episode 123 of the Outer Banks This Week podcast in the books, all brought to you by Kelly's Automotive in Manio, online at kellysobxauto.com, and it's all powered by Outer Banks Pest Control. And you can find them online as well at outerbanks-pestcontrol.com. All right, I'm out the door. I will see y'all again next week. Good Lord willing. And the creek don't rise. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.
This has been another radical edition of the Outer Banks This Week podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and listen every Thursday for a new episode.